Hello, everyone. Welcome to this little New Year's chat, or rather, end of the year chat, because I want to focus specifically on the feelings that we might have as the year is ending. I always say that the end of the year and the beginning of the new year is not really the time to do like huge changes. That is what Ostara is for. That is what the beginning of spring is for. And yet we have a lot of feelings probably at the end of this year. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some of the collective things that I've noticed with clients or friends, like topics that are popping up that you might be able to relate to. And I also want to talk about the Germanic tradition, or not necessarily Germanic, maybe European tradition, or also Eastern European tradition of Raunächte. There's not really a word in English for that. Some people might call it holy nights or something, depending on how Christianized you want to take it. But Rauhnächte is becoming bigger and bigger, and there's so many products and offers online. And I just want to tell you what I'm doing for my Rauhnächte rituals. And we're going to talk about all of that. So, first of all, I want to tackle the idea that a lot of people right now feel like they should be further ahead. Something I have noticed is that this year, a lot of people who haven't done shadow work ever before, who haven't done inner child work ever before, are starting to do that and are starting to reflect more on their lives, on their life path until now, on their stories. And what I'm hearing from those people is the impatience of, why isn't more in my life changing now that I'm doing this work? And I think what is sometimes missing in the online discourse is that the magic of changing, the magic of healing takes time, but it also takes active attempts at changing your behavior. And a lot of the time, I feel like people think that as soon as you know why you are a certain way, you will magically change. As soon as you know that because your parents yelled at you when you were a child, you still go into fight or flight or into freeze mode now, and that will just magically resolve itself as soon as you know. Sometimes that can be the case, but a lot of the time, especially if we have deeper nervous system dysregulation, or we have deeper patterns that were ingrained in us, deeper beliefs that were ingrained in us from our childhood, you can't simply just change them willy-nilly just because you know where they're coming from. And I have heard this sentence over and over from friends, from clients who are like, I know why I'm doing these things and I don't want to do them, but I still do them. But I've explored why I do them. So why am I still doing them? Logically, I know I shouldn't be, for example, refusing going into deeper connection with someone just because I'm avoidant, my attachment style is avoidant, for example, or my attachment style is anxiously attached, but I still do it. I still feel anxious. I still wonder if they're going to write back, etc., etc. And I think, first of all, to kind of solve this conundrum and help us collectively, I want to make it very clear that you can be very grateful and very proud of yourself for doing that work. If you feel like you're not getting ahead, if you feel like I know so much, but I still act in old ways, first of all, find some gratitude for that deep work and that deep reflection that you have been doing. In our society, we so often tie the value of something to the result. So, this journey of going deeper with yourself might feel useless if you do not have the result you desire, the result of getting all of your wishes fulfilled, the result of being able to completely change your behavior. But we need to let that idea that only the result makes something worth it go. Let it go, release it, and bring in some gratitude for how far you've truly come, even if it is just in your mind, mentally, being able to communicate what has happened to you, being able to tell a story about why you act the way you act. That is already the first step. But we cannot confuse the first step with the finish line of healing something, of integrating something, of doing shadow work. The awareness of where something comes from is just the first step. And if you do not go further than that, those patterns might keep repeating in a way that feels very frustrating to you. But at the same time, even if you just have the mental thing on lock, it's not going to be a complete repetition over and over again. It's really important to go into that gratitude of how much you've already changed mentally, even if your behavior hasn't changed, and to find gratitude and awareness for how those situations that you feel like they keep coming back, how they have actually changed and how you dealing with them has changed. Especially at the end of the year, there's this feeling that all of the lessons that we've been learning throughout the year are repeating, repeating, repeating. The same thing are happening, the same things are happening again, and you feel like, I thought I was further along. Why is this happening? I will give you an example of that from my own life. I have had quite the health journey this year, dealing with hypermobility, kind of finding more stability in my body, strengthening my body. And I used to have inflammation or injuries because I was very unstable. And a week ago, once again, I hurt my foot because I wasn't careful. I kind of stumbled and it was way worse than it should have been. And that threw me right into a thought loop of like, oh, I should have been further along. I've been stabilizing myself. Why am I getting hurt? And my mind made it such a big deal because it's happened before. And then, in truth, it healed within a few days. It's almost completely gone now, which was unheard of before. So, my healing has improved so much. My circulation has improved so much in my legs. And I feel like that was supposed to happen to me at the end of the year. So, I get these feelings again of, I'm not like, why am I not further along? I'm not getting there. Just to show me, hey, you are getting along. Things are changing, things are healing faster. And maybe you can apply that to whatever situations are repeating for you as well. So the first thing we need is gratitude and awareness that things aren't the same. They aren't the same. If you have done the mental work, that is the first step, and you can be so, so, so proud of yourself. If you know where your patterns are coming from, where your resistances are coming from, etc. The second thing is, I said that the mental energy, the mental work is just the first step. And I mean that. There are so many more steps to healing that you can take. And that can be a bit overwhelming. There's tons of resources out there, but I will just name a few things. For me, somatic practices have been incredibly important. Listening into my body, where those emotions that keep coming up, that keep repeating, where they sit, what do they feel like? When have I felt them before? And then making space for those emotions rather than pushing them away and intellectualizing them and being like, I know where this is coming from. It's coming from my childhood because XYZ. Yes, that is a good thing to know, but in the end, it might not lead to healing. You need to make space for the emotion and heal whatever part of you still feels like that, because you cannot push it away by just thinking, I know where this is coming from logically, so I should not be feeling that. It doesn't work like that. The body doesn't heal like that. So somatic practices or going into your body and feeling that emotion truly and letting it happen is great. Another thing, nervous system regulation. I know it's all over Reels, TikTok, etc., short form content right now, and rightfully so, because it does so much for you. Because even if you logically know that you should not be stressed, that doesn't mean that your brain is going to suddenly change your body's reaction and you are not stressed anymore by the same things that should not be stressing you, just because you know what the root of your stress is. Doesn't mean it's going to go away. So nervous system regulation is So, so, so important. For a month now, I've been doing it daily, multiple times. There's also breath work that kind of goes along with that. And, learning certain breaths that help you calm down along with the nervous system regulation. There's so many practices online. I'm not going to show you uh, any, or maybe I'll show you my favorite. Let me show you my favorite, like three or four. My first favorite for nervous system regulation is that you hug yourself and you go down your arms very slowly and go into the hands. You can also do this squeezing yourself a little bit and just going all the way to the hands. Doing that 3 or 4 times, even now, I have the I'm starting to yawn, and that is good. That means I'm relaxing. Another one that is really good for me is this one where you do the stimulation on both sides of the body, where you just tap with your hands really slowly. Then a really random one that I love is you take your left hand and put it under your right armpit, and then the other hand just goes here, and you just hold it like that. It's so relaxing for no good reason. There's probably good reason behind it, but as long as it helps, the reason doesn't matter. Another one is doing small circles with your hands on your stomach and on your heart. That is very helpful. And my last favorite that I always do is cupping my face like this and just holding myself like a person you love. A person you love, you would take them like this when you confess their love, your love to them. Do it to yourself. It's fucking great. Now, what else? With the nervous system regulation, it just really helps calm down. Even though I just did these willy nilly, I already feel calmer than I did before. And lastly, I want to say affirmations and positive thinking. This year has been such a huge lesson for me that I need to be more positive. I am a person that tends to be very negative, that tends to kind of demonize the love and light movement. And I needed to kind of let that go. We don't want to do spiritual bypassing. We don't want to say everything is good in this world and in your life. No, but you still need more positivity because your brain tends towards the negative. That's just what brains are like, to protect us. So, more positivity and more affirmations, especially like really standard affirmations that go along with these nervous system regulation exercises, are very, very useful. For example, just saying, I am enough, there's nothing I have to do, I can relax now, I am safe, I love myself. These are like the most basic affirmations, but they help. They really, really, really help. So please be aware of that. And when you do that, you're going to enter a new state of healing and a new state of relaxation, especially if you've been dealing with nervous system dysregulation. And it's not going to help to know where the nervous system dysregulation is coming from if you don't do exercises to literally tell your nervous system, it's okay. It's okay and you are safe. So that is my advice. A lot of gratitude for how far you've come, even if you've just done the mental energy, the mental work. I keep saying mental energy. And secondly, do your exercises, do somatic practices. You can also yell, you can sing, you can hum. All of that is also regulating sometimes, depending on the situation. You can do certain breathing techniques that you can look up online, and you're going to feel so different. And of course, also, we're going to talk about more witchy stuff, which is happening now, because these things, they are kind of witchy, but not necessarily. So let's get into the witchy part of all of this, which is also connected to Raunächte, because I feel like healing obviously can be majorly supported by witchcraft practices. And this is not necessarily witchcraft practice, the Raunächte tradition, but it was definitely a heathen tradition and not something that Christians loved. But they definitely tried to make it theirs. You know how Christianization works. But anyways, I just want to talk really quickly about what I do for the Raunächte. First things first, when are the Raunächte? It depends on who you ask, I suppose. Some people start on Yule, like the 21st. Some people start on the 22nd. Some people start on the 24th. Some people start on the 25th. For me, I start on the 24th, and that is when the first Rauhnacht begins. There is certain kind of like, burning certain herbs you can do for every day. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be burning so many herbs probably, but you can. There are certain topics for every day. I'm not going to go deep into that. I will just tell you the easiest practices that you can basically do right now, even if you have no preparation and never heard of Raunächte before. So we have 12 nights that start whenever you want to start, for me on the 24th. And there's some rituals you can do. The first thing is tracking your dreams, because people say that the first night corresponds to January, the second night corresponds to February, and so on. And based on your dreams, you can kind of divine what may happen or what themes might pop up for you. I think that's super, super interesting. Just this last night, even though it's not the 24th yet, I had super vivid dreams with very, very strong feelings of feeling abandoned, of feeling not heard, not being taken care of. So I feel like 2026 is already kind of coming in and saying, like, this is going to be a huge topic for you, and it's going to be a huge topic of healing, a huge task of healing those wounds within myself, of being neglected, maybe being ignored, feeling like I wasn't taken care of. So through those dreams, I already kind of have the feeling that this is going to come up. It's going to be a topic that needs to be resolved. So I'm going to track my dreams on all of those days. When it comes to interpreting dreams, there's a Teal Swan video on interpreting dreams. She's not entirely unproblematic, but I think her take on dream interpretation is great. So you can go and watch that. Um, and then the second thing for the Rauhnächte, it's really important to let go before you start all of this, to release. Like, what do you want to keep in the old year in 2025? What do you not want to take with you to 2026? And once you've done that, you are going to feel more free, feel more open, be able to tune into more new wishes. And that's exactly what the last ritual that I want to talk about is going to be about. It's going to be about manifestation and wishes. So it's called like the 13 wishes method, I suppose. Some people call it that. And essentially, what it is you, on whatever day, write 13 wishes for the new year on small pieces of paper and fold them together so you do not see the wishes anymore. Then you put them in a glass jar, and every night, starting on whatever day you believe, for me the 24th, for some people the 25th, every night you're going to burn one wish until only one wish is left. So on the 5th of January, you will have one wish left. And every time you burn a wish, of course, take all of the fire precautions. We do not want anything to happen. I have my little, what do you call that? Cauldron. I always burn them in my cauldron because that is made of copper and it's not going to light on fire. So every time you can say whatever comes to you. I usually say, I burn this wish and I give it to the universe for it to be fulfilled. And then the last wish that is left, the universe is not going to fulfill for you. You have to do it yourself. So that is like already a great pointer towards, what do you not need to worry so much about? What has the universe got for you? And what should you be doing on your own? What do you need to take real initiative on? Now, when you formulate those wishes, we don't want it to be like a laundry list of all the shit that you haven't got done this year. And you're like, oh, I need to do this and this and this and this. Of course, you can do that if you want to. I would recommend that you go with positive formulations. So, not like, I do not want to be like this, but rather, I want to be like this. so no negation in the sentence, and definitely writing it as if it already happened. Like, I'm grateful for being more patient, finally, something like that. Um, and I would also recommend not necessarily taking material things. You could, like numbers you want to reach, maybe how much money you want to earn, sure. But it's also useful to take into consideration what personal changes you want to make, and using that as a basis. So if you're thinking about what wishes you want to accomplish, for example, let's say you want to be a social media star or something, then you might not literally want to write that, maybe, but you could also write, I want to get over my fear of visibility. I want to feel confident and comfortable being seen, would be a positive formulation that will help you on that path. So these personal changes or these healing practices might make sense for you to consider. And that's it. I did this like really shortly. I hope it made sense to you how it works. Obviously, you're not going to look at the wishes when you burn them. You're not going to look at every wish and be like, "Okay, I'm burning you now." You just draw them at random, and then the last one is left. Now, why is this practice powerful? Because a lot of the time when it comes to our wishes, we are very attached to the outcome. We are very attached to, we need to make way and get ahead. And personally, as a witch, I have noticed that the spells and the wishes that I make that I forget about, that I kind of give into the universe, into the void, into whatever you believe in, they usually then get fulfilled. Whereas when I'm very attached to it, I write it down, I read it every day. Sometimes that's a bit much. It can be great for like literal goals that you have to read it every day, to go into alignment with it. But sometimes it can help so much if you just forget about it and just let it happen. Because it has certainly happened to me that I did spells and I forgot what I wanted. I got it. And then months later, I was like, wait, I casted a spell for that. I forgot. And sometimes that's just how it works. So believe in the magic, trust in yourself, be grateful for all the things you've accomplished this year. What I don't like is all of these end of the year videos that bash the year of 2025, that are like, oh, it was so terrible, I'm ready to go into 2026. It wasn't all terrible. Like, on health wise, I also haven't had a great year, but I'm still so grateful for all a little for all of the lessons that I learned from that. And I think going into that space of gratitude and awareness and knowing that you are right at the right step of your journey where you're supposed to be is so much more powerful than shitting on the old year and being like, I want everything to be different in 2026. So tune into that gratitude, tune into that positivity a little bit. um of course, be honest about shortcomings, be honest about what went wrong, but try to give your brain some positive things to think about and try to be grateful for where you are on your path. It's so important. If you want to get more accompaniment, more companionship, that sounds weird, from me, I do offer 2026 readings right now in my shop, anyaesma.com. You can look at that right now. It is recorded video readings where I just record a video about your questions, about whatever you want me to read in tarot. And yeah, then you get a nice little overview over the year and what healing patterns might emerge, what motivations you might need, just what you need to hear in general. Also, I have a Patreon, of course, where I do journaling prompts for you that you can do on your own with tarot. I give you affirmations, I give you extra videos or podcast episodes, and all of that good stuff. And of course, also some small tarot readings for the general monthly energies. I will do that for 2026 for January, of course, as well, over on Patreon. So I would be so happy if you support me there. Like this video, it means a lot. Let me know below what you want to leave in 2025, what you want to call in 2026. Let me know if you've ever heard about Raunächte, because I feel like many people haven't. But it's getting bigger and bigger, even internationally, not just in Germany. And I'm so excited to hear what's going on for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, probably not until January. Let's see if I feel called to film another one. Thank you, and bye.